cloud, and then
conference will now be recorded.
today I'm going to cover some of the basic concepts of cloud, and then I will also discuss about the contents that we are going to discuss as part of this training. Okay, so let us continue. So before I start off, maybe some of you might have some questions in your mind. So I just want to take a few questions if you have anything, so we can take up. So any questions from your side before I start up? Okay, so I'll take that as no. Let us continue then. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Shankar. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer since last 2 years, and I also have done seven certifications in Azure. So includes Azure Administrator, Azure Solution Architect, Security Engineer Associate, and then DevOps Engineer Expert. So these are the few, and SAP and WVD. So there are a lot of other, but yeah, these are the main certifications that I completed. And okay, so let us learn some very basic concepts of cloud. So first of all, what is cloud computing? So how actually I mean, why we are hearing this, buzzword cloud, cloud, cloud. Nowadays, a lot of people are working. There are a lot of opportunities in cloud. People say this. So, what is cloud computing? So, it's something like we in our day-to-day life, we have already been using this cloud technology. So, it's not something it's new for us, but it is just that we are now started working on this cloud technology. But we have all been using this cloud since some time. So we all use Google Drive, we all use OneDrive, we all use iCloud, MiCloud, and yeah. So whoever has a smartphone these days, in the smartphone they have a cloud for sure, right? So what do you do with the cloud? You actually upload, you actually back up your data in a cloud, and you will actually check out whenever you want, right? So this is something we have been using since very long time, but now uh, we are actually using the same cloud technology for the IT softwares and IT applications and servers and so on. So basically, in a generic way, cloud computing is nothing but delivery of your compute resources. So when I say compute resources, like it can be CPU, memory, and storage and networking. So these compute comes under CPU, memory, and storage. So delivery of these resources over an internet to you, that's actually mainly delivering some resources over an internet to you. That's nothing but a cloud computing in a very, very layman terms. Okay, so you order something in Flipkart or Amazon, you get a product, right? So but the product is delivered to you, to your doorstep. But here everything is virtual. So you want whatever you need. They want nothing will be delivered to your home, but you actually purchase it in online, and you use it online itself. Okay, so there's nothing. If you purchase one VM virtual machine in online, it won't be delivered to you, but of course you'll have access and you'll be able to use it virtually. So it's completely delivery of certain compute resources to you over an internet, which eventually will enable faster innovation and flexibility of resources and economies of scale. So these are the main 3 points, which attracts all the customers, all the users of the cloud, because they uh, see, nobody will use something just like that, right? So only when they see some benefit in that, when they see some advantage or value in that, they will start using it. So the main advantage or main value of the cloud computing is something we'll see next slide. So mainly in cloud computing, the very, very important. So there are a lot of services. You can say close to 1,000 services. When I say services, each of the, let's say, it's like a product. So in IT, okay. So there are a lot of products within that, in the cloud portal, be it Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, but we are mainly focusing on Azure Cloud. So out of all, very important one are compute, network, and storage, and analytics. These are the very, very important ones, because how they have decided these are very, very important ones, because a lot of customers are using this. All these cloud companies, cloud providers, they get a huge financial benefit out of this. So that's why they called out these as a very important ones, favorite ones, I would say. So let us see some of the benefits, top benefits of the cloud computing. Okay. So top benefits of cloud computing, first of all, cost. Cost is one of the benefit. So usually what happens is, so I am not sure how many of you know the traditional data center, or how exactly it look like. So usually, if you go back maybe 10 or 15 years before, so 10, 15, let's say 15 years before, um, when you want to, let's say, I as probably I came out as a college passed out. I want to start some startup. Okay, let's compare the same situation for me 15 years before and 15 right now. So a person, some XYZ person, he want to start a startup 15 years before. Right now we are in 2022. So you go back to 15 years before 2007, let's say 2007. So when you in that time when you want to start a startup, what is the procedure that you have to do? What basically typically what you have to do? You have to first of all, for your startup, you might need a website, right? So, so if you need a website, that website must be hosted on some server, some Windows server or Linux server. You'll actually need a Windows or Linux server. So to need for you to need a Linux server or Windows server, you need to install the hardware. Like, so just to purchase your laptop, you'll spend 30,000, 40,000, and close to up to 1 lakh. So for servers, usually you spend more time, more money. So uh, you have to get some approvals from your internal team. Then you have to, once you get the approvals from internal finance team, if you are the only one who is responsible, it is just a single startup, then you are responsible. You spend at least 4 to 5 lakh rupees just to actually get that server. So just to get the server hardware. And once you have the hardware, then you will actually install that hardware. Uh, and then you will install your operating system. So you have to procure some place. You have to get some rent some place, or if you already have your own building, in a building you have to have one single room which completely have AC, air condition, because servers require AC because they get heated very fastly because of the work. Usually, when you work on your laptop itself, it gets heat, and inside laptop you'll have a fan which actually keeps running, right? That will actually ensure the cooling. But in for server, because it runs 24/7, 365 days, it gets heated very fastly. So you need to ensure that you should have a AC in the server room. That's why I'm not sure. So if you guys studied in BTech or degree, so any college, when you go to college, and you might have noticed there will be one small room which is very transparent room. Inside that room you'll see a lot of cables, and you'll also see that is fully AC one, and inside that you'll see a server with a lot of cables inserted. So that's actually typically a server room. Okay, so that the server probably it is taking care of your college. Okay, so that's typically how a server room will look like. Now the thing here is, to set this up on your own, you have to spend close to uh, 4 lakhs. You'll spend only to purchase the hardware. Then you have to procure the operating system. You get the operating system. Probably you'll buy from Microsoft for Windows. For Linux, you go to different Linux providers, and you get the operating system. You install on your server, and then to do all this work, you need one expert, right? So ideally, let's say everybody can't do this. So there should be an expert, an IT expert who actually knows how the operating system works, how to manage, how to install all this information. So you have to hire one expert, right? You'll hire an expert to do this stuff for you. So he will install the operating system, and then finally you'll have your website ready. So I just only talked about the hardware. I said of the hardware, you'll spend close to 4 to 5 lakhs. So that 4 to 5 lakhs rupees, yeah, so you'll spend 4 to 5 lakh rupees just for hardware. And then next you need to hire an expert. You have to pay salary for them, and you have to arrange a server room with full of AC. You have to do some capital investment to setting up that room and etc. If you consider maybe 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. And then you need a security person who observes or who monitors the server 24/7. So if a security person works 12 hours a shift, let's say, so you need two people, so you'll spend at least 20,000, 30,000, and an IT expert can actually demand probably 30, 40,000 or 50,000 per month. So putting all this together, so the maintenance and your server, uh, to purchase the server hardware and to maintain that, you'll typically will end up spending at least 60,000 to 80,000 rupees on a monthly basis only for me. The initial investment, you if you leave aside, initial investment itself will come around 6 lakhs to 8 lakh rupees just to set up one server in a server room with a full of AC, and you need to rent. To rent again, you basically will lease a building. If that building is not yours, then you will pay money for the leasing as well. So typically you'll end up spending some around 6 to 8 lakh rupees. I'm talking about 2007 time. Okay, 6 to 8 lakh rupees, and a month again on a monthly maintenance cost. Like you have to pay salaries, you have to look out the electricity bill and everything, etc. Monthly payout, monthly salaries, your maintenance you'll spend close to 60 to 80,000 on a monthly basis. So being an entrepreneur, you want to start some startup. So your initial investment is close to 6 to 8 lakhs, and your monthly you're paying this. So this will put a lot of pressure on your head. How you're going to get this profits, how you're going to recover this money, how you're going to get the money out of it. So if your idea works out, of course the startup will be, if idea works out, it works very well. If idea, whatever the idea they have, if idea doesn't work out, then definitely they will go to bankrupt, because they have done some investment, and if they are not able to recover that, so they'll go to bankrupt. So that's a very typical scenario in those days, because you are setting up everything on your own. Okay, now let us think about the same scenario right now in 2022 or 2021, these days, last 5 years time. um, let us consider similar situation now. So let's say the same person, or some other ABC person, he want to set up the startup. Now he got to know that there is some cloud, we can use cloud to set up this website and all. So he learned about cloud, and simply he went ahead and in a cloud directly, cloud offers a website for us to create within fraction of hours. Okay, uh, I mean within few hours you'll be able to create your website with very less investment. So so the advantage, the moment you sign up for cloud, you get 200 dollars for as a free trial. So for user for 1 month, you're going to use that $200. You can create your website, and you're not paying anything. In return, you're getting $200. Okay, so to use it, and then you will set up your website. You will see if it works, how it works for 1 month time. If it works well, then you actually change it to pay as you go. Pay as you go in the sense, from then onwards, you will actually pay on a monthly charge. So monthly charge, typically you might get 10,000 to 15,000 rupees. Of course, you need some expert to set up the website and etc. Of course, for that person you might pay. That expert may require. Even right now with the cloud technology, so you can also, without very minimal, without much knowledge, you also can set up your website. So with the cloud, you're not doing any initial investment. You're not purchasing server room. You're not purchasing servers. You're not renting some security person to watch out 24/7. No AC, nothing. So you're not worried about any of this, because all of these will be taken care by cloud providers. So you really do not worry about any of this. All you want is, you want a website, you simply get it. uh, you simply get it within a day or within few days, and with with literally with no investment, no capital investment, only ongoing charges. That too, the first month you get it for free. Second month onwards, you will pay on a monthly, uh, you know uh, rental. Close to on a month end you get a bill. Again on a month end you get a bill, you will pay close to 10-15,000 rupees. So that's all you're paying with the cloud. So if your idea works out, it's well and good. If it doesn't work out, even if you try it in the same way for 6 months, 1 year, hardly you're going to get a loss of 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, not more than that, right? So this is why IT is, after having this cloud technology, a lot of people actually, they, whatever the idea they came up, and they actually want to do something new. And if it works out, it is good. If it doesn't work out, they'll go back to some other, they'll think about something else. So again, this is not just only for startups, but for very big enterprise organizations also. They also start using this cloud, because because of the benefit of the costing. So you'll definitely see the cost difference. You'll see the cost difference in cloud compared to the on-premises traditional your own data center, and you'll not have uh, a headache of managing the hardware infra. If any disk failed, so you have to get it replaced. So all those, uh, you know, so all those troubles you don't have to go through. That will be taken care by cloud provider. So by actually shifting to cloud. So that's why a lot of customers, even Fortune 500 companies, very big organizations also, they are in cloud now. So in the other advantage you get is global scale. So global scale is something, uh, these cloud providers, they have data centers across globe in each of the countries. Okay, on me, all main countries they have data centers in. So data centers are regions you can call out. So using those data centers regions, you can sit in Hyderabad and you can create a website in East US without even visiting without even visiting US. You can create a website in the US. But do you really think back in those days, uh, in 2007, do you think it's possible? You have to actually visit US. You have to then rent some data center. Then you have to set up that. So you'll actually end up investing a lot of money there. But here, just simply sitting in Hyderabad, you can create a website in whichever part of the world. So you can go ahead and create in UK, you can go ahead and create in US, you can go ahead and create in Singapore, wherever you want. So you'll be able to reach globally with the cloud. So that's another advantage. And performance, of course. So these cloud providers, they invest huge money. They actually ensure so they will actually replace the hardware on a time-to-time manners. Like every 3 years, they're gonna renew it, the new hardwares and etc. So you get a better performance from that perspective as well. Security, they invest billions of dollars for security because um, again, another question: do you see any cloud provider? So why you see only providers are very big companies? Do you see any company, any small company, or any startup company started cloud provider business? So we see AWS, which is Google, Amazon. We see Azure, Microsoft. We see GCP, Google. We see Alibaba, which is Alibaba Cloud, and then we see Oracle Cloud, which is from Oracle. We see IBM Cloud, which is from IBM. Apart from these clouds, why don't you see any other cloud? Why don't you see any other cloud starting by different companies or small companies or medium sized companies, even very big MNC companies? We do have MNC companies in India, right? Why do you think they have not started any cloud business? Any thoughts on this? Anybody want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I think am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Hi. So I think it requires a lot of infrastructure and global presence. So that is one of the reason, and they have to invest a lot on the development and implementation as
Exactly, that is true. So they need, more importantly, they need global presence. So they need global presence, and also they need a huge investment. That is for true, because see, our companies do have a very good presence in India and also few other main countries, but they may not have a very good presence in across globe. So that is very much important, and also investment is another aspect. So these companies, if you see their market capital, they are close to trillions. If you look at Microsoft, Amazon, Google, their market capitalization is close to 2 trillion, which is very huge. So they can invest billions of dollars only for the cloud business, because initially you have to invest huge money, but later on you will definitely get the profits. So that huge investment is something which is worrying uh, for a lot of companies. They are not able to invest such a huge money because of the risk. Of course, it may have risk. If they do it well, of course it is profitable. If they don't do it well, so that will go to bankrupt. So that is actually the reason you don't see. For your information, Infosys have their own cloud. Actually, we call it as that's actually Akash Cloud, Infi Akash. So but they use it only for internal purpose. So they call it as Akash Cloud, and they actually just simply use it for their internal purpose. They have not publicized it anywhere else so far. So yeah, I mean, they have this cloud, but they're only using it internal, so they're not. It's not a public cloud in that case, right? So they did not come out, and no other customers actually entered that. Uh, so the main reason is global presence and huge investment. So these are the two factors which actually influence. Um, and that's why you see that other companies, even Alibaba, they have their own cloud, but that right now it is only mainly present in China and in Asia at least, but not in US and other regions. So their business is limited for Asia. But other like AWS, Azure, GCP, their business is across globe. So because their presence is there everywhere. So whoever know Google, so you use Google search engine, of course you know Google, right? So it's as simple as that. Then comes to speed. So the amount of time it takes for you to create a website, it is much faster, much quicker in Azure compared to your traditional method back in 15 years ago. And then productivity, of course, when you don't have the additional headache like managing the hardware infra, managing the all the underlying things. Of course, you will spend your more time on your actual deliverables, like any. So that will improve your productivity, right? The reliability. So all these cloud providers have backup, there's recovery in place. So what backup is something, even if you lose something, you'll be able to restore it. And there's recovery something, even in case of any major natural disasters, you can actually replicate your complete setup to another data center, another region, which is close to 450 kilometers or 300 miles away from the primary data center. And when there is a natural disaster at one data center or one region, you will have your application or data available in another data region. So you can actually use that to in case of natural disasters. So that's another advantage you get with the cloud providers. But for you as a whole, if you want to set up two different data centers for this disaster recovery setup, it's something like this. I am sitting in Hyderabad. I have to maintain one data center in Hyderabad. So I will spend close to 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. I'm talking about very for one single server, one single room. But if you look at if you want to maintain 20, 30, 40 servers, your investment will be in crores itself. It will be in millions. So you have to spend that money. And if you want to replicate similar setup in some other region, so if I want to enable disaster recovery, I have to set up similar thing in Chennai or Bangalore or some other place. Okay, so then same amount, it is doubling our investment. You will do there, and that will be there only when natural disaster comes. If there is no natural disaster, that other data center will be of no use. So yeah, that's how the cloud is actually safeguarding. So cloud is actually is much economical, and you see all these benefits within cloud. That's the reason all companies are moving towards cloud. So that's the main reason we are all here. You're learning, and I'm teaching. Okay. Okay, so there are three types of clouds mainly. One is public cloud. Public cloud is nothing but it's a cloud that is available to all general public. So right now, what are the cloud technologies that are available to general public? All you see AWS, you see Azure, you see GCP, you see Alibaba Cloud, Oracle Cloud. These are all the general public clouds that are available to all general public. So that's why we call it as public cloud. Comes to private cloud. Private cloud is something your own personal data center where you manage everything. Your own data center where you manage everything. There is a chart. Okay, yeah. So in private data center, it's some I talked about the back in 15 years before I talked about, right? So where you maintain your own building. It will be either your own building, or you might have rent or leased from some other provider, some other person, and then you maintain your own data center. Inside that, you'll maintain servers, AC, cooling, security, and all these aspects. You take care of that fully. So that is actually private cloud. So then comes to sorry guys. Then comes to hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but mix of both. Okay, so you have a public cloud, along with the public cloud, you'll also have a private cloud. So you're maintaining both. Again, just to simply to summarize or to compare, uh, something like this. Okay, so you have a car, you purchase your own car, so that's like investment. Private cloud, you will invest 10 lakh rupees, you'll have your own car. Some people they don't like to maintain a car because of so and so reason. They will prefer to use Ola, Uber. Okay, so Ola, Uber, they'll prefer to use. So with that, whenever they need, they'll use it and they'll pay money. So that's like a public cloud. But the difference right now, the reality everywhere is everybody try to own a car. That's true. Uh, totally agree. But when it comes to IT, right? So when you own a car, the problem here is every server that you purchase in IT, it has to be renewed in within 3 years. So usually, typically in IT, let's say if you are asked to renew your car, if you are asked to change your car every 3 years, do you really purchase a car? I think no. So you're purchasing a car because you want to maintain it for longer term, and that's why you're using the car. But in IT, any server, any physical hardware that you purchase a laptop. How long that laptop can be, very effective? So probably a few years, not more than that, right? Similarly, because you don't use a laptop 24/7. If you purchase some hardware which you're using 24/7, 365 days, so ideally in IT organization, they will have certain rules. Every hardware has to be renewed within 3 years or in 5 years. So again, in 5 years, they have to spend another investment. They have to purchase another server. They have to replace this old one. This old one will go to scrap. I'm not sure whether you get even 20%, 30% of investment also. So that will, again, this is a continuous process. So that's why in IT, of course, in a real time for cars, you might prefer to have your own car because you want to keep it for longer term. But if you're asked to, if there is a rule which it says, every person has to renew their car, change their car within 3 years or 5 years, nobody will purchase a car. Everybody will prefer to use Ola, Uber. Okay. So in IT also, because of this fact, a lot of companies prefer to use this cloud, because in cloud providers takes care of all this, the replacement, failures, everything will be taken care by them. So that's why, but some customers, they prefer to maintain both. Like they will have their own data center, very one single data center. They might have 10 data centers across globe. They have shut down all the 9, but they just keep only one because that could be their main office and so on. They might want to keep some important data there, very financial sensitive information, and rest of the thing they might have moved to cloud. So they will use both private and public cloud in that case. Let us quickly see the cloud comparison. So the cloud comparison, in public cloud, no capital expenditure is required. So and you're only going to pay as you go model. Pay as you go in the sense you will pay only for what you use. In private cloud, here applications can be quickly provisioned and deprovisioned. You can create quickly, and you can also delete same with the same speed. And private cloud, here you must procure the hardware. You have to purchase the hardware, set up and maintain that. So you need to invest some money initially. And here but here advantage you will have is you'll have full control. Okay. So if you purchase your own car, you have full control. But if you just go on Ola, Uber, you don't have any control. You're just a customer. You're just a passenger. That's it, right? So here in private cloud, you will not have much control, only a limited control. But in public cloud, in private cloud, you have full control because it's your data center. And but at the same time, you're investing your money, and then you are responsible for everything: hardware maintenance, updates, security, and so on. In hybrid cloud, it gives you some flexibility, but at the same time, you're maintaining private cloud as well as public cloud. So you're ending up spending some extra money, but of course it gives you some flexibility. You have a choice or option to what to keep in your own building and what to keep in Microsoft building, so Microsoft data center. So that choice that you'll have, so it gives you more flexibility. Okay. So there are three types of services in cloud. So what you see here in this color, in white color, it's on-premises private cloud. So this is where you have storage, networking, compute, virtual machine. Everything will be in your control. And on the right side, you see three different services. These are actually belongs to cloud. Okay, in cloud there are three services. One is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. One is then platform as service, then software as service. So infrastructure as service, nothing but, so you will be given this infra, compute, networking, storage as a service to you. So you will be given this will be taken care by Microsoft. The rest of the things will be in your control. So you'll be given virtual machine, operating system, runtime, application, and data access. These are the things the ones that you see in this color, green color, you have the full control on these. The rest of the things will be uh, managed by Microsoft. So here IaaS nothing but the infra, compute, networking, storage. These are the main infra pillars, right? So these will be managed by Microsoft. These are being provided to you as a service. That's why we call it as infra as a service. Then comes to platform as service. In platform as service, uh, from storage, networking, compute, and VMs, operating system, runtime. All these areas will be managed by Microsoft. These are all. This is a complete full platform. So even operating system also is being managed by Microsoft. They will give this. They will provide this as a service to you, and only you will have access on application and data. That is about platform as service. And if you want example for infra as a service, it is a virtual machine is a very good example for infra as a service. Of course, we are going to learn those basics of virtual machines and etc. in next classes. But yeah, for now, I think this is the info. And the platform as service, a very good example is web app, logic apps, Azure functions. So these are all the examples for platform as service. Then comes to software as service. In software as service, you will not have a control on application also. You will only have control on data and access. Very good example for software as service is all your application that you're using, O365 and Microsoft Dynamics. And right now we are all using Gmail, YouTube. These are all SaaS products only. They are actually sitting in cloud. They are developed by these cloud providers. They are simply giving those applications to us. We pay some subscription and we use that. So those are a software service. Again, very simple comparison from IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. IaaS is actually most flexible. So IaaS will give you more flexibility because you'll have more control. But you need to manage your hardware and you need to configure, you need to install the updates and etc. You'll have some little bit of work to do. And in PaaS, you will simply focus on your development because you don't have any access to your operating system. You'll develop your code and you'll deploy that code to your application, web app. So here platform is being managed by Microsoft Azure. I mean SaaS, you will not do any product is fully developed by the cloud provider. You will only just simply use it in a pay-as-you-go model. All applications that you see, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Flipkart, all these applications, they are SaaS products. Okay, so you will actually pay some subscription money and you will use it. Okay, so now comes to the question is why you must learn Azure. Why not AWS? Why not GCP? Why not some other cloud? Why only Azure? So I am going to bring some facts here. So Azure has got close to 60 plus regions across globe. So any cloud business will be successful when they have global presence across multiple countries. How they will get the presence? They have to build data centers across globe. Then so that let's say we have a country, Taiwan. It's a very small country, but of course in Taiwan also you have very very good products, very very good companies. So let's say in Taiwan government, I'm just giving you an assumption, an example. So Taiwan government, they have certain government policies that their data or their servers or data should not be stored in any other country. They want to store only in their country. So in that case, any cloud provider, if they want to, bring Taiwan companies, Taiwan, I'm just giving this just an example again. Taiwan country companies to cloud, they have to build a data center in Taiwan itself. There is no other way around, right? Because government policies doesn't allow you to store your data in some other countries. So they have to build a data center. Even it's a small company, even it's a small country, but if they see some business there, they have to build a data center there. But how many companies have built a data center in Taiwan? I'm sure probably AWS, GCP, they don't have it, I guess. But Azure also they are building now. It is coming soon. So I'm again not sure. AWS, you guys can check and let me know tomorrow. So I'm happy to know if you guys if there is a data center for AWS. Okay, so that's just an example. Okay, so when you have a presence, when you have your data center in across all different countries, including small countries, you get a business from there, right? At the same time, you also should make the calculation. It should be profitable business again. If you just only have one company and for that one company you build a data center in that country, that is not viable to the organization. They'll end up actually end up with an investment, but they don't end up with losses for that particular data center. So Microsoft has built close to 60 plus regions across globe, and you see all the blue color ones. These are all regions. You see some dots. You see here the available regions. These are thick blue colored ones. They are actually regions. So in India we have 3 regions. Okay, then you see availability zones. So these are all like blue with a small dot. So these blue with small dots, white dot. These are all availability zones. In availability zones, in one single region, you'll have 3 data centers. Okay, minimum 3 data centers. So that is because they might have the huge business there, so they have built 3 data centers. In India also, they are bringing 3 data centers. Earlier, we only have in West India, we have 1, and in Central India, we have 1, South India, we have 1. But now they are actually building in Central India, which is in Pune, they are building 3 data centers. Okay, and so other ones that you see here, they are actually available soon. So they are actually they are building it, so they will be available soon. And in fact, Microsoft Azure has got more number of regions compared to any other cloud provider. So no other cloud provider has 60 plus regions, 60 plus regions across globe. Okay, so let's look at the AWS. AWS has got close to 24 or 30 regions they've got. That's the AWS cloud statistics. Okay, and how do you manage the Azure portal? So you manage the Azure portal using, so these are the different tools that we use. Of course, I'm not going in detail now, but these are the products that we actually, these are the Azure portal is mainly we're going to use initially. Then I will also walk you through the PowerShell and CLI, Cloud Shell, and the mobile app is the, you get a mobile app in Google Play Store or iStore, Apple Store. You can download and you can start using it. So that of course this doesn't have all the features, only a few features. And we are also going to learn some ARM templates, Terraform, and stuff like that. Okay, so then comes to slide. Yeah, that's about the pretty much about the very cloud basics, and why Azure. And now how what will be the your typical work, and how uh, you will be working, what are your once you learn, so what you're going to do it mainly. So typically a cloud architect like me, so anyone, they will actually design some architecture for any organization. This is a very small architecture that you see, which includes just one single VM with some OS disk, and um, and networking and public IP address, DNS, and etc. This is very simple and typical architecture. How it look like will be given to your admin team or implementation team. They are responsible to create these services, gather all the information from the customer, and then create these services. So create the VM, create disks, create NIC. NIC, of course, it is part of VM itself, and public IP address, DNS, and all these, and NSG. So these are the things that you need to set up. So that will be your typical roles and responsibilities. And this is very basic sample one, but you also it can go up to very complex also like this. Okay, a typical project will look like this. Okay, so you'll have here, you see a lot of components are involved here. You see load balancing, you have different tiers of application, web tier, business tier, and you have Bastion. So there are a lot of things you need here. This includes a lot of components that we will actually discuss in our course. You have Active Directory. So these are all we will actually discuss in our course. And so typical architecture may look like this. So when you are given something like this, you should be in a position to create these services. So that should be your end goal. Okay, mainly an implementation as well as troubleshooting side as well. This is a pretty old one, but of course it has covered a lot of services. So for each area, for compute, we are mainly touching on these services. All the IaaS services we will actually learn. And the security side, Key Vault, MFA, Azure Active Directory portal, we will actually touch upon those. On the hybrid side, backup, import, export, site recovery, store simple, Azure AD Connect. These are all we'll touch upon. And in here, we'll actually touch upon web apps. And then we have AKS. Of course, those are not, this is an old one. That's why you see 24 regions only, old diagram. So we'll also learn ACI, Azure Container Instances, We'll also learn AKS, Azure Kubernetes, services. So these are all the services that we will discuss as part of our course from Azure. Okay, so there is another important news, but yeah, this is something uh, from last 10 years data. This is the last 10-year data. It's a year-on-year demand for cloud skills for starter jobs. So uh, year-on-year demand, if you see Azure is an orange one. So here until from 2017 until 2017, you see AWS is, of course, it is still a market leader. It has got 32% market share, where Azure has got 21% market share. But AWS has started the business in 2006, if I'm not wrong. It's 2006 they have started, and Azure has started in 2010, 4 years later. And initial 3 years or 4 years, the business was not great because of the old model. Because of the you know uh, old model, the business was not that great. And in 2014, they actually came up with a new model of Azure, which is actually uh, Azure Resource Manager. I will discuss about this in our training. So from then onwards, Azure has started seeing growth, and from 2017, it is pretty steep in growth. If you growth wise, we just look at the growth year on year demand, 58% annually. Azure has grown 58% annually from 2017 to 2000, till today. Okay, even today also. And the general cloud skills, they are grown 29%. AWS cloud skills, they are grown 14%. So AWS, because it's in the market since very long term, that is main advantage for AWS. But if you see, Azure has actually started in 2010, but actually with a new model, it started in 2014. So in a past close to 6 to 8 years time, it is able to grab 21% of market share. Okay, and then Azure, this AWS has got 31, 32% market share. Since last 2 to 3 years, the percentage of market share is stagnant there itself. It has not changed much. So 30, 31, it is just circling around the same number. So probably it's a sign that customers are customers are looking at the other cloud providers, which gives some advantage or benefits and etc. Okay, so that's my opinion. Of course, you might have a different opinion. I totally agree upon. And then if you look at the how the cloud business is done in during pandemic especially. So when the pandemic, when we got pandemic hit into December 2019, right? So from then, if you look at the business of during the pandemic, general cloud skills, they are down by 30%. If you compare, they are down by 30%. And then the demand for AWS is also down by 17%, and demand for Azure is up by 15%. That's why you see very the buzzword Azure and Azure DevOps in the current openings or market. So that's why it is very important for you to learn some cloud technology which is in demand right now, not something which is there since very long time and already known by a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are already trained in AWS, but and openings are very less comparatively, if you ask me. That's my opinion again. Okay, and out of Fortune 500 companies, 95% companies, they are using Azure. 95%, which is close to 475 companies, are using Azure. Rest 15 companies, yeah, on rest 15 you'll have Amazon based, Amazon and Google Cloud, they're based companies. But here the fact is, not all companies are only using Azure. There are few companies, they are using Azure along with AWS also. Because if you look at this company, Coca-Cola, they use not just Azure, they also use AWS. At the same time, if you look at Walmart, they will fully use Azure. Walmart is a very big company, they completely use Azure. Only the fact is, AWS is their competitor. So no company want to store their data in the competitor data center, right? So AWS, Amazon is a retail competitor for Walmart. So definitely they don't prefer to store them. So those are typical, what do you say, things which will actually influence, because Microsoft is a pure IT company. Microsoft is not into different businesses. So that's why Microsoft may not have any other rivals, or rivals. Of course, they will have in the IT space, but not in different space, right? But Amazon is into different businesses. So even if there is a company which is rival in a retail space, they will not move to AWS. They will move to different cloud provider. Similarly, Google also have got for Google, because Google is out of discussion right now. The reason being they have started the business very, very late. So uh, Azure has started in 2010, and typically the more business they've got in 2014. But GCP has got started in 2017, which is very, very late. Right now, their market share is very less. Okay, so I will talk about here. You can see the Google Cloud market share is 7%. This is the older number, Q1 2021. AWS, it is 32, even in 2 years before also, even till today also it's 32, 33, same range. AWS, Microsoft Azure, it has grown to 21% as per the latest numbers that I heard. Google, it has grown from 7 to 10. That's what I know. So Google will need lot of efforts to surpass Azure and AWS. So even till today, for Google, the primary business is YouTube ad revenues. So cloud is not their primary business even till today. But for AWS and for Azure, Microsoft, cloud is their primary business, from where they get a lot of revenue. And we are only talking about this, but you look at this gray area. There's still 42% left. So which is an indication that you still have a lot of growth in the cloud business. Typically, by 2023, they are expecting a cloud business to grow up to $500 billion, which is $0.5 trillion only cloud business, which is very, very huge. Okay, so that's why there are a lot of opportunities even now. So you will have a bright future for next 5-10 years if you learn cloud, especially. Yeah, cloud. Along with cloud, you also have to learn few other things that I will cover in my trainings. Okay, that's pretty much about this. Yeah, I mean, it's a leadership also plays a major role. So when you have a good leadership, of course you get uh, you get good growth, right? So because you see this the growth started coming from 2014. That is when Satya Nadella has taken over as a CEO. The first tweet he made is not just first tweet, but one of the tweet he made is Microsoft loves Linux. That is a tweet which changed the Microsoft company's complete what do you say, the revenue or business and everything. Okay, so previously we have Microsoft has got Steve Ballmer, who was a pure Windows lover. He never loves Linux. He clearly mentions in the tweet also he loves Windows. He hates Linux. But out of top 500 supercomputers, you don't have Windows at all. So you have fully 498 computers are Linux. So when you hate Linux, you can't survive in IT. But when Satya took as CEO, so he stated Microsoft loves Linux. Even now in Microsoft Azure, 51% is being used by Linux, 49% is being used by Windows. So because when they start learning Linux, loving Linux, so that's how their business actually grown, and that's the change. Okay, so they clearly mentioned Microsoft is a productivity and platform-based company, so it doesn't have any other business into different fields. That's what it claims. Okay, and he's number one CEO, and I think in the last 2 years, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Okay, that's pretty much about this Azure cloud. Now comes to, of course, Google also has got very good leader, Sundar Pichai, and Amazon also has got. But yeah, I mean that's again whatever I share, it's my opinions. Okay. Uh, Again, so now let us come to the content. What we are going to discuss finally. Okay. So the content we are going to discuss as part of our course. This is official curriculum from Microsoft. Usually, a Microsoft certified trainer will actually deliver these trainings and for corporate trainings. This is an official curriculum, so which we are going to cover completely, which includes virtual machine scale sets, PowerShell, CLI, ARM templates, then virtual networks, NSDs, firewall, DNS, and blobs, files, file sync, storage explorer, AZ copy, metrics. These are logs, metrics, log analytics, alerts, network watcher, and these are app services, containers, AKS. These are PaaS services, and Azure Active Directory, users and groups, and backup, disaster recovery, and VMs backup, files backup, and on-prem to Azure connectivity, site-to-site connectivity, point-to-site connectivity, express route, virtual WAN, and VNet peering, and then Azure Load Balancer and Application Gateway, and then these are the load balancing services. Okay, so there are different load balance services also in Azure. Then we'll talk about subscription policies, RBAC, and so on. So this is how official Microsoft curriculum looks like. But for my class, I'm going to give some additional bonus. What I've done is I did customized. I'm not only just covering this. Along with this, I'm also covering some extra important, well-known topics. Okay, so these concepts I bought from the different courses. Like Azure has got Microsoft different courses like um, architect, security, DevOps, so all like that. So we are covering admin Azure course, which is a combination of architect, security, DevOps. That's the main advantage of this course. So we are Azure AD Connect is which is very important one, which is part of security course. We are covering as part of this training. And traffic manager is also not there in the previous actual official course. We are adding that up. This is also part of architect. Okay, Terraform basics and uh, we have Azure DevOps, Azure Pipeline Basics. These two are part of DevOps. We are covering here for the benefit of the interviews and etc. And MFA is one thing I'm covering. And migrations, Key Vault, and Security Center, Sentinel. Migration is another key aspect, which is part of architect course. So, which is a very important one to know the migration. That's why we are covering migration also. Key Vault, Security Center, and Sentinel. These three belongs to Microsoft Azure Security course. So we are adding those courses also. These important concepts also into this, and it's a combo. As you get these services as a bonus. So actual official topics are these, but along with these topics, I'm adding these additional topics, uh, which is very important from the different courses. Okay, these will give you an edge for sure because Terraform Basics is one important thing, and Azure pipelines because any interview you go, so they will all at least look for a little bit of basics. You might really not interested in development side or coding side, but you should have some basics. So those basics you will get it for here. You'll get here for sure. Okay, so that's about the course content. I will just take a pass and I want to check. We're almost done. In another few minutes, let me complete the rest of the slides. Then I'll take up questions. Okay. So you might have question what you need and do you need any prerequisites for this course? I mean, you must have already some knowledge. You might have these questions, right? Do you need, I mean, you might have question, do I need some knowledge already? Or can I just simply come even without any experience? Can a fresher learn this? Can an experienced person learn this? So the answer is no experience is required. You don't need any experience. Even if you're a fresher, I will cover from very scratch level, ground level to I will take you up to a speed, and then from there we'll take it further in the training. And then we should have, and but what you should have mainly. So you should have a commitment for learning. That's very important. You need to have a commitment for learning, and no other prerequisites are required. Uh, no prerequisites are required. All you need is a commitment for learning. That's it, and you can come to the training. And provided when you come to the training, try to at least have one laptop with a minimum configuration. I'm not expecting you to have some 8 GB, 16 GB, at least 4 GB of RAM with minimum configuration should be sufficient. That is for just for browsing and using Azure portal. So that's the minimum expectations I'm having for this course. That's pretty much, guys. Okay, now I can take up questions. Any questions from your side? Again, the information about the training timings and all. So the training will be conducted Monday to Friday, morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. And then course will last up to 40 days. So 40 days, yeah, close to, and it approximately will also differ, like 5 days, uh, 5 days more or less like that. Okay, but that's pretty much about the course. Any questions from your side? Any questions that you want to ask?
Hi, good morning. This is Naveen.
Yeah.
Uh, do we need required any scripting language for Azure?
I would say no.
Okay.
But yeah, so there are few things that are required. I will teach you those things. So you don't need a full of scripting.
And do we need any knowledge about Windows? Windows is required. Windows basic knowledge. Anything?
No, nothing like that. No.
Okay.
Okay, more importantly, class is the training is going to start tomorrow. So please do join. So if you don't have the contact details, please do reach out to Career ID, and whoever actually came through me, reach out to me. So I will help you with the details. Okay. So tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. we are going to start.
Uh, Hi. Will the course content be useful for Azure certification exam?
Exactly, it is useful for sure. You can clear AZ 104 certification
Oh,
with this course,
After the
and
after the course. Okay. Thank you.
after the course, with some practice, you can clear it for sure.
Sure. Thank you.
Hey, Subbu here. I have a couple of questions. So, the first one is, so how can we see? I think you little bit explained around the differences and how Azure is growing when we compare with at least AWS, not with the GCP, because GCP is still in very low market occupancy. So,
Correct.
like, if so basically, let me be honest. So I'm a VMware guy. So I did my VMware certifications earlier, and it's been like a long gap, like 4 to 5 years. I'm not working on VMware at all now, and I would like to switch my career into cloud again. Okay, I want to go back to my technical career, because right now I'm a kind of working on a program management side. So
Okay.
I mean, how can I see that Azure is going to be the future in terms of technology, and because when you are explaining the first 4 years of Azure is very flat in terms of growth. So how can we see that Azure is going to be like even if it is not a market leader in next few years, at least at the growth level, how can we see that? That is my first question. And the second question, if we want to go with the Azure data factory or something, so how can this uh, course help us to take more courses around data factory or the Azure data bricks? So any kind of, maybe I'm having zero knowledge on the data factory and data bricks. Maybe those are more related to development or data science. So I would like to understand basically on my second question, that how this training will help us to take forward and learn those courses as
Yeah. So good question. So the answer is simple. Okay. So I totally agree. Initial 4 years it was flat because of the fact that they developed a model has a lot of drawbacks. So which is we call it as Azure Service Manager model. That's why there are a lot of drawbacks in the model. They learned from those learnings, and they came up with a different model, Azure Resource Manager, which eliminated all those drawbacks. And since then, that is a very good learning, because any company, when they learn it the initial stage itself, they will never make that mistake, right? So from that mistake, since then, you see, that's why you see lot of very frequent changes in Azure. uh, Continuously they will keep on developing some of the other thing. They will bring some new updates, new features, and etc. That's why you see Azure today like this. And one thing I talked about the leadership, so that's why you can. And so my anticipation, probably it may not be soon, but in some time, maybe in couple of years, uh, Azure may become a market leader like AWS. It may not. I'm not sure whether it may surpass, or it may at least equal the market share that AWS has got. So that's what my thinking. And the other question is to learn the Azure, right? How this course is going to help, in learning Azure, especially on data factory, data side. So what I would say is, for any learner, if you are new to Azure, this is a very good starting point. That is for sure I can say, because in this starting point, you learn a lot of. You will be introduced to Azure in such a way. You learn a lot of things like within Azure. That is very much important. So be it you're targeting to be a developer, you're targeting to be a DevOps engineer, you're targeting to be a security professional, you're targeting to be a architect, you're targeting to be some data side. Doesn't matter whichever you're targeting for. this course can be a good starting point, because we are going to touch upon a lot of concepts, especially in Azure. So those will definitely help you to take you to further level. So that's why this course, uh, that's why I said additional bonus concepts and etc. Right? So this gives you a complete, very good picture of the Azure. At the same time, technical knowledge also, practical knowledge as well, real-time experience you will get, and from that knowledge you can take it further. Because the point here is, doesn't matter whether you are targeting for architect or security or DevOps or data, any of these, all of these actually includes these areas. So all of these, whatever you are targeting for, they will actually start from this only, because this is a common, what do you say, common services or common products that you will be used in all other areas like architect, DevOps, security, and data, and etc. So that's the reason this will be a good starting point for anyone, whatever you are targeting for.
Got it. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay.
One quick question, sorry. So, are you guys gonna again touch upon the networking and storage concepts, I mean, basic concepts to understand?
We are going to deep dive, not just basics. We are going
Okay.
to deep dive the networking storage.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. If no other questions, let's wind up. Let's catch up tomorrow 7 a.m. sharp. Okay. Please do join. Initial 2-3 days, I'm going to cover the basics that are required for others, whoever doesn't have any knowledge. From 4th day onwards, we will actually start off Azure classes, like Azure concepts. Okay. Thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Happy weekend. See you all tomorrow morning 7 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.